Welcome to the Legal Code. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to discussing various legal topics. So if you've been following me over the last few weeks, I have been doing a deep dive into medical tourism, shenanigans of the United States, and how they are falling short in terms of delivering services and support to the American citizens. So within that, I revealed that I have been traveling throughout Colombia. And I've had firsthand experience in the medical system, the government, and I wanted to share with you the culture shock in the last 2 months of what I have been experiencing. So if you're curious about relocating and you want to know more about Colombia, what it's like, the healthcare system, the education system, cost of living expenses, we're going to discuss each of those as it relates to my culture shock after being here for 2 months, which I think is a good enough amount of time to be able to speak on these topics. I visited several doctors, the dentist. As you can see in my earlier videos, I provided some footage of me going to the dentist a few times, as well as my mother who's with me, who's accompanying me as we traveled throughout Colombia. Her experience also culture shock. My world, my perception about things has been blown out of the water, and I realized I have some serious PTSD after living in the United States. So without further ado, we're going to get into the culture shock of being in Colombia. Number one, the food in the grocery store. I'm sure you all hear about real food outside of the United States. It has taste. For instance, the bread goes moldy after maybe 3-4 days. You cannot leave it outside. It will go bad. And when I say moldy, I mean really, really moldy. And yeah, when I say moldy, I mean really, really molded. Like you have to throw it out. So that was interesting to see, as well as the meat. The meat after the second day, uncooked, it has this smell where you would think it was going bad. But I asked my friend, I'm like, oh, is this how it's supposed to smell? She said, yeah, that's the blood of the meat. It's a natural smell. But for our untrained nose from the United States, we're so used to food companies putting in additives and preservatives to maintain the color and to reduce the smell of meat. We're not accustomed to this smell, but she said it was perfectly fine, and it was. I didn't get sick, and I couldn't believe the smell. That's actually how real meat is supposed to smell. To boot, being carnivore in Colombia is so cost effective. It is so inexpensive to be able to buy prime cut meat, all parts of meat. If you like ground beef, if you like filet mignon, if you like sirloin, all the parts of the meat easily able to buy at a grocery store. I mean, I think about, I have a receipt here, but this is shopping in a touristy area. So I bought, I believe, around 3 pounds of meat, and it cost me around $7. And it was the back of the cow. So extremely economical. Also eggs. I don't know if many of you have known that people are smuggling eggs. There's this joke that people are smuggling eggs from the border of United States and Mexico because so much more economical in Mexico. So people are buying eggs in Mexico. Those who have the advantage of living close to the border, buying eggs on the border and bringing them into United States, because now for a dozen of eggs is costing $6, $7, $8 in some areas. Cost of eggs here is around $2 to $3 for a count of 30. I was in shock at how economical it was. And I bought eggs in a touristy area, and it was around $5. So again, it was catering to the tourists, for foreigners, so it's a little more costly, but $5 for 30 eggs is still relatively inexpensive as opposed to what you pay in the United States, $8 for a dozen of eggs. Healthcare is a right and not a privilege, and not ordained for those who are able to pay for it in Colombia. Everyone has the right to health care, with 95% of its citizens having health care, access to health care, whether it's public, they have the public insurance, or the more expensive private insurance. They're proud of their healthcare system. Colombia has the best healthcare in Latin America. The government invests heavily in the universal healthcare to make sure that they have a healthy population. Even as an outsider, being able to see a doctor without the administrative rigmarole that the United States is infamous for having. All I had to do was schedule an appointment, go to the consultation with the doctor, pay for the visit. The consultation was about $10. For example, with the dentist, $10 to see the dentist. The consultation to get my teeth cleaned was around $40. And that was it. My mother needed more care as it relates to her dental treatment. Same thing, $10. Get the x-rays done at another facility. The x-rays were sent to the dentist. There was no, oh, schedule here, call here, go there, go there. The doctor said, go to this facility to do your x-rays. The x-rays will be sent over when you have the next appointment with the dentist. Your dentist will have the x-ray results. And sure enough, the dentist had the x-ray results, explained what needed to be done, scheduled the next appointment. Seamless. As opposed to dentistry in the United States, you better have good health insurance that covers dental coverage, or you'll be paying out of pocket, or you'll be walking around with missing teeth like most Americans who are underinsured or who have inadequate health insurance as it relates to dental treatment and who suffer. And that's so unfortunate. Here, seamless. Also, this is like a subcategory of health insurance as it relates to people with disabilities, people who ambulate with a cane or a wheelchair. There are ramps everywhere. They're just steep because of the conditions of flooding. So there are ramps for those who have trouble climbing stairs to make it as ADA compliant as possible. Most of the buildings have elevators, and most of the showers are wheel-in showers. So if you're someone who has trouble walking, or you ambulate, like I said, with a cane or a walker, it's relatively easy to move around because of the ramp, the accessibility culture, as well as people will help you. People will come out of their way, and it is their pleasure to be able to help you if you're struggling to get up a sidewalk or get into a building. Someone will help you. Housing amenities. My experience with housing, the housing is where I'm staying in Barranquilla, so it's a cosmopolitan international city. They have garbage pickup for individual apartments, and they knock on your door or they call you to let you know to put your garbage out. That level of customer service is not just because I'm a foreigner. Most of the people who live in the building happen to also be Colombian. I'm the minority as a foreigner. But for the Colombians, this is just their daily life. You have garbage, they come twice a day, or you leave your garbage outside your door and they pick it up. So there's that culture of customer service. It's also a culture of security, very security conscious culture. There's private security, armed private security, as well as armed police officer. Security is a priority here. The smash and grab culture that has taken over the United States, there's no smash and grabbing going on here because you will be grabbed. There's a culture that we will protect the people, the tourists, the locals, the natives, and you're not going to come with any sinister behavior because, like I said, these security guards are armed. You're not messing around with them. this rampant violence that's happening in the United States is not happening in Colombia. You feel safe, you can walk around freely, you can enjoy your day without looking over your shoulder wondering if someone's going to hold you up and rob you. Not happening. Security is everywhere. And the police are not used or are not weaponized against the people or anyone. Police are there to protect and to serve. And unlike the security guards in the United States, which we see are unarmed, overweight, indifferent, and who are just doing their job, making $13 an hour in many cases, they're not invested in the safety of the community, of the city. So they have a laissez-faire attitude, which is the exact opposite of how it is here. Security is of utmost importance, and it's a culture. Everything is gated, like your apartment is gated. Strangers are not coming in unannounced. They have to announce themselves to the security guard, go through a gate, cameras everywhere. I mean, it makes security in the United States look like a joke. This is serious, serious security, and I feel extremely safe. Oh, this also, which is I think is interesting, the WhatsApp culture here. WhatsApp is used to communicate with various businesses. There's not always, it's a lot more efficient than talking on the phone with somebody. They WhatsApp you to confirm your appointment, which I think is so much easier than waiting for the doctor's office to call, or calling the doctor's office and no one's answered. It's such more, efficient, and it speaks to their international mindset. Businesses are used to serving American clientele, so there's not this impetus, there's not this culture of how can others access this business outside of the United States, which is why I think WhatsApp is not really encouraged and used in the United States. The customer service is top notch. I didn't realize how many years I was just tolerating poor customer service in the United States, and what can you do about it as a customer? And I'm not an entitled person. I just expect if I go into a business, whether it's a doctor's office, a coffee shop, a restaurant, that someone explains to me where I need to be and where I need to go, and not have to guess. How many times have you entered a doctor's office in the United States and the front desk person ignores you, doesn't communicate with you whether or not the doctor can see you, tells you, oh, well, I'm going to lunch, so the next person who's covering for me, they haven't gotten here, but when they get here, they'll tell you where you need to go. How many people end up waiting in a waiting room for 45 minutes to an hour for someone to pay them attention? That does not exist here. They see you, they serve you with pleasure, with honor, with dignity. There's no attitudes about, oh, you're bothering them right before they go on lunch. Especially city agencies, which in the United States have this culture of apathy and indifference toward the customers, the taxpayers who need the services of the city agency. And it's 11:30 and they're telling you, well, I'm getting ready to go to lunch. It's 2 o'clock, I just came back from lunch. So you waste the whole day not getting what you have to get done because they're either preparing for lunch, at lunch, or just came back from lunch. So you get nothing done. Here, the customer service, like I said, top notch. People are happy to serve you. They welcome you. They greet you with a smile. They say, thank you for coming. How can I serve you? And it's so refreshing to see. It makes such a difference in how you go about your day, because you're not dealing with someone with an attitude. Easy to get controlled substances as it relates to pharmaceutical drugs. I can't believe how easy it is to get, whether it's a steroid such as prednisone or antibiotics that you need. You just go into a pharmacy and you ask for it and they give it to you. That is it. You do not need a prescription. You don't need your doctor to call the pharmacy to refill it. Nope. You buy it and it's about under $10, and you get your drug that you need to maintain your health. There's no making an appointment with your doctor, paying the copay to see the doctor, leaving, waiting for him to call the pharmacy to refill the prescription, then having to pay for the medicine. Nope, you don't have to see your doctor if you need, like I said, prednisone. You go, you tell them how many milligrams you need, they give you it, they have it in the back, they give it to you, you pay for it, and you go about your business. Seamless. The administrative costs in dealing with healthcare in the United States, I mentioned this in my previous video, which I will link, eats up about 1/3 and is one of the main reasons why healthcare in the United States is so costly and so expensive. The administrative costs of filling prescription, sending x-rays, going here, going there, that's what I mean as it relates to administrative costs. Here, it's seamless. You get your x-rays done in one place, your MRI done in another place. Those records are immediately sent to your physician so he can read them. There's no, oh, well, you have to go to the right place that takes your insurance in order to get your x-ray or your MRI done. Oh, so I wanted to mention my mother. She has an autoimmune condition. So she's been purchasing her medication here, but she's afraid that she's going to run out. So every time we pass a pharmacy, which mind you is about every 50 yards is a pharmacy, she wants to stop and buy more. And I'm like, Ma, you just bought one 10 minutes ago. Why do you need to buy? But she has PTSD of running out of her medicine and not being able to get. I'm like, it's not like that here. It's in abundance and it's easy to get, but that's to show you that we have such psychological trauma from the systems and the institutions of the United States that don't exist in other countries. So those are my experiences those are my culture shock experiences moving to a different country. And I leave you with the kindness of Colombian people. When I say kindness, I mean my first week and a half here, I had a dentist appointment, a dentist that was recommended. And I was nervous to go to this dentist by myself, like I didn't know the system. So my taxi driver who's driving me, I asked him, I said, can you come in with me? And he said, with pleasure, I don't mind. And he came with me, sat with me during my meeting with the dentist, my consultation, my cleaning, everything. And anything I missed in translation, I know a good amount of Spanish, but there's some things I don't know. He translated everything to me in case I missed anything, and we ended up becoming friends with his family and things like that. And they have been just God sent, just angels. I truly believe God doesn't have hands and feet, so he sends people to help us, and that goes to being vulnerable. When you're vulnerable, people do meet you and want to help you, and not in a begrudging way. These people see a need, a humanitarian, a humane need, and they go out of their way to be able to help you, and they don't mind. And it's so remarkable and refreshing to see, and I feel so embraced. So that also is a culture shock, the kindness of people. So that is my video. My mom is gonna come on and give her input about her culture shock being here and her experience too, from her lens, from a woman who's a little older, and what it's like to adapt to a new culture as a woman in her 60s. So stay tuned for that. You're gonna see that soon. Let me know your thoughts. Have you thought about relocating to another country? Are you afraid of certain things? Are you worried about not being able to get certain things as to why you won't move to another country, such as healthcare? That's always a big reason, especially people who are over 50. They're concerned about whether or not they'll be able to see a doctor, or if something goes wrong, who will come to help them? I saw that question a few weeks ago about someone saying, well, if I get sick in this country, what if my family can't get to you? These people will help you. They'll become your second family, and they'll make sure you're okay. There's not that culture in the United States. It's more of the individual. I'll take care of my family as long as my family is good. That's all my concern is. Here, there's a conscientiousness of community, and that I will help you. And if you need help, if I need help one day, you may help me. Not in an opportunistic, transactional way, but we all need each other in order to have a prosperous, healthy society. So those are my culture shock moments. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.